And we are live. Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to yet another live stream. I hope you're doing fantastic wherever you are. If anyone's out there, then just let me know that you can hear me. Just drop a message in the chat and just say hi and let me know where you're joining us from. I haven't yet missed one week. Ever since I said I'm going to be doing this every Saturday, I'm still yet to miss one, although I am almost always late. And I apologize for that because it's never good to be late. But, I always do show up. So please bear in mind if you're catching these live streams and you're kind of waiting for them, please bear in mind that I am sometimes late. 9 times out of 10 I'm usually on time, but it's not too late here. It's like 9 o'clock, 9:15 in Berlin, in Germany. And I actually have, I don't know if you can see it, I have my baby phone here, this little thing, because I'm alone, and put the little one to bed, and just need to listen out because I'm in a basement here and I can't hear anything, so I need to have this in case he shouts out and I need to run out. That will be interesting for the live stream. I thought about maybe I could have like some kind of advert when that happens. That would be cool. I need to work out how to do that, because if he calls I just need to go. And then everyone will be watching an empty room, which should be interesting. But it's all live, and that's how we do it. That's how it rolls, isn't it? Anyway. I should make sure that I'm actually live, because I've actually done a whole live stream before, with it on, and I'm like on private. A whole live stream on private. Whole live stream, like it was an hour and a half to no one. I didn't even realize. That's always funny. I shouldn't laugh down this microphone to get too close to this mic. This is a ribbon mic. It sounds lovely, but I really should get like a pop shield for this. If I'm going to be so close. Usually I'm a bit further away, but I'm a bit closer today. I don't know why. Anyway, today we're talking about why a great tone matters when playing acoustic guitar live. And I don't know why I thought of this. I basically, I saw some videos or something about this, and this is something that's kind of come up for me a lot when I'm playing live. And I've got some sort of a different kind of setup today. I've got my pickup plugged in. So I've got a bit of reverb going on the guitar. And we're going to look at that in a second. But this is something that's come up a few times. And it kind of matters, but it doesn't. It only matters to you, really. Because I feel that a lot of the time, the audience don't really care about how good or how not good your tone is on your guitar, whether it sounds like an acoustic guitar or whether it doesn't too much, and this is, I feel, something that I've obsessed with, and I'm sure other people have obsessed with as well, of trying to make an acoustic guitar sound like it sounds just on stage through pickups and microphones on stage in a live situation, basically. So that's basically what today is going to be about. And the first question is, I'm also going to be playing some songs as well. But yeah, the first question is, what is a great tone? What is a great tone? And notice I said tone a not acoustic sound, because I think if you go down the route of trying to make your acoustic guitar sound as acoustic as possible on stage, it's almost an impossible achievement, I find, because it's never going to sound exactly how it sounds acoustically, you know. I feel that. This is how I feel anyway, you know. This is all my opinion, you know. Instead, I've kind of given up that, and I'm happy with just a tone that I'm happy with, you know, a pleasing sound. This is basically it. You know, I'm happy with a tone that's pleasing to the ear, rather than something that sounds specifically acoustic sounding, if that makes any sense. I hope it does. And a great tone is basically whatever you want it to be, you know. I think you're the decider of this, you know, because like I said before, the audience, most of them anyway, unless they're guitarists and they're just, you know, extremely nerdy like me, or like some of us, they're not going to care too much, you know, as long as it sounds okay, you know, and as long as you're playing all the right notes, as long as the performance is there, as long as you're playing what you're supposed to be playing, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. So, and I know why this title of this video is Why a Great Tone Matters, and I'm saying it doesn't matter. It matters only to the extent that you're happy, you know, because I've been in situations where I'm playing live, and because I know how I am, I'm judging my tone and the sound of the guitar so much. I've done that in the past, that if it doesn't sound quite right to me, then I started to get annoyed, and that would really affect my performance, you know. So I feel it matters because it affects you as a performer, you know. So it doesn't really matter, only if you think it matters, you know. If you're one of these musicians, one of these guitarists that just, you don't really care too much about how your guitar sounds live, you're completely happy with the sound, and you've always had the same pickup, the same setup, I envy you, because I'm never happy and I'm always changing it. But that's, you know, I kind of enjoy that as well at the same time, you know. I enjoy experimenting around and trying different things, you know. So that's kind of part of it as well. But, you know, it only matters to the extent that you feel happy with it or not, you know. So your audience doesn't care. Your audience really doesn't care. Only if you're actually playing something that you're not supposed to be playing, you know. If you do a great performance, then it really doesn't matter to them. But it might to you, and it did to me. And this one particular, I'm probably quite a few concerts. I just had a bad sound check, and of course it's never going to sound the same in every single venue, you know. It's going to sound slightly different, and there's been a few times where it's really knocked my confidence, and that affects my whole performance and my feeling towards everything, you know. So that's why it matters. But at the same time, you know, I've also had concerts where it doesn't even matter, you know. And it didn't matter because this one concert that I remember, this one show, for some reason I had to borrow someone else's guitar. And this is when it didn't matter for me, you know, because it wasn't my setup. It wasn't my usual setup. It wasn't my guitar. So I was just a bit like, well, doesn't matter because I'm not judging it because it's not my guitar kind of thing, you know. So I was just focused on the performance and having a good time, and it was a great gig. I had such a good time, you know. So that kind of says that it doesn't really matter. So it's up to you. The audience doesn't care, you care, and if you can't get over that, then at least get it to a stage that you're happy with the tone, and you're kind of, you can be happy with the tone that you produce in every show. So that's basically what I am saying. So yeah, that's why it matters, or doesn't, as the case may be. And if anyone's watching live, then welcome. I hope you're having a wonderful day. You know, I do these live streams every Saturday at 9 p.m. Central European Time. So yeah, I try and be on time as on time as possible, but I haven't missed a week yet, although I am going on holiday in a couple of weeks, so I will miss a few weeks, but I'll let everyone know about that. I'll go straight into a song here. And this is going to be, and then I'll talk about kind of the setup and how I get a great tone out of my guitar live. And it's a very similar setup as how I would have it on a live performance. So you can kind of see I've got a few pedals here. It's just a very kind of basic setup. I'll talk about it after I play a little song. This is called Nobody's Fault But Mine, and it's a version that's done by Blind Willie Johnson. Here we go. Nobody's fault but mine. Nobody's fault but mine. If I don't read, my soul be lost. And I have a Bible in my home. I have a Bible in my home. If I don't read, my soul be lost. Father, he taught me how to read. And Father, he taught me how to read. If I don't read, my soul be lost. Nobody's fault but mine. Mother, she taught me how to read. Mother, she taught me how to read. If I don't read, my soul be lost. Sister, she taught me how to read. Sister, she taught me how to read. If If I don't read, my soul be lost. Nobody's fault but mine. And I have a Bible in my home, and I have a Bible in my home. If I don't read, my soul be lost. Mother, she taught me how to read. Mother, she taught me how to read. If I don't read, my soul be lost. Nobody's fault but mine. That was Nobody's Fault But Mine by Blind Willie Johnson. How's everyone doing? Hope you're well. If you've just joined us, we're talking about why a great tone matters when playing acoustic guitar live, in a live situation. Who have we got? Roberto, how's it going? Great melodies through the waves of summer's air. Very nice. Thank you very much. Hope you're well. Yeah, so we're talking about acoustic sound live, and you know, I've been in situations where I've really hated the sound of my guitar live on stage, and it's really affected my performance. So that's basically why I think that that it matters. So it only matters to the extent that you feel that you're happy with it, you know. So I want to talk a little bit about how I get my tone through the guitar. And if anyone's watching live, then just let me know in the comments below if it sounds all right to you. Sometimes I'm approaching kind of clipping. Hopefully I'm not too loud that I'm sort of clipping or anything. This is my second mic, the second webcam here, so you can kind of see my setup a little bit. So this guitar I'm using is a Loudon 010 jumbo model. It's made in 1994 in Northern Ireland. and it's really a beautiful guitar. It's got mahogany back and sides. See if I can. I've got my cable plugged in, but I can. Look at that, lovely, really nice mahogany back and sides. You know, it's quite a big guitar. You know, it really has quite a large lower bout. It's quite on the thick side, but it's, you know, it's really comfortable to play, and it just kind of sits in your lap, and it's really nice. So yeah, we've got mahogany back and sides and cedar top. Cedar top. Cedar. I always say cedar. I don't know why. Weird. Cedar top. I just need to keep an eye. Can you see that thing there? So you can see that. That's the baby phone, and my son is sleeping, and his mum's gone out for the evening, and so I just, if that starts blinking, you can't even see it, so you're not going to be able to tell me. I should have it in front of me ideally, but I couldn't find a plug to plug it in anywhere near here. I'm using all my plugs because of these pedals. So I had to plug it back there, so you're not going to be able to tell me, are you? Hopefully I'll be able to hear it, but because I'm in a basement and he's like upstairs, so it's hopefully I can hear him, but we'll see. Hopefully he doesn't wake up. Fingers crossed. Otherwise I'm going to have to scoot, and you'll just be watching an empty room, which should be interesting. But yeah, we are live. Anyway, where was I? I got distracted. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my setup. So I talked about the guitar. This is the guitar. It's just a really, really nice guitar. If you get a chance to try out any Loudons, then please do so. If any shops, you know, you can usually just, you have to ask them sometimes, but make sure you're careful with them, because they cost a fair amount. But they're just beautiful guitars, especially in Dadgad. I have this in Dadgad. It just sings, and it's very open and very full sounding, you know. So it starts with that, really, is the guitar, you know. This is how. And if anybody is... Oh, we got a few comments. Hello, how's it going? Hey, we got another Fabian with an E. Is that how you say it, Fabian? Are you French by any chance? Just curious. There's not in England. I'm from the UK, and I never met another Fabian. But it's quite common here in Germany. I didn't know that. And I started meeting all these other Fabians. And I was just like, whoa, that's crazy. Going through my whole life not knowing another Fabian. Anyway, that's a side note. If you could let me know in the comments what your kind of live setup is. That would be really interesting, both for if you're watching this on live or in the replay. You know, and if you're not a guitarist, then don't worry. All good. I hope you're enjoying the live stream anyway. And, you know, guitar, pickup, pedals, preamp. So it starts with the guitar. Having a good sounding guitar, this is the first thing. This is ultimately, make sure and it doesn't have to be an expensive guitar, you know. There's some great sounding guitars that are not overly expensive, you know. I started playing, what did I start on? Way back when. I started playing quite a few like older Gibson acoustics, and they definitely need like a setup and stuff. Has anyone else played some old Gibson acoustic guitars? You know, you can pick them up for fairly cheap. They're not overly expensive, and there's some really nice sounding ones, you know. Some of them are a bit, the intonation is all a bit funny, and they definitely need a setup, you know. and some fresh strings. That's, go without saying, but they can be really nice. So you can find these guitars, some that are just really nice sounding, especially some vintage ones that have a bit of age to them. If you put a bit of TLC into them and get them set up nice and everything, then they can sound really nice. And then I had Guild as well. There's some nice Guild guitars. I had a Taylor. Taylor and Martin, then you're getting a little pricey, but they definitely do some lower end ones that I've tried, and they're not that bad sounding. They're pretty nice. And the guitars vary from guitar to guitar, doesn't it? I find you can pick up some really nice one. Even Yamaha, I've seen some vintage Yamaha guitars that are acoustic guitars that are not too bad. Really surprised. Hey, Fabienne. Yes, like you. French, yes. It's a common nickname in France. Okay. Didn't know that. Cool. Good to have you on the live stream. Welcome. So guitar. Let me know what guitar you use, what pickup you use in the live situation. We're talking about acoustic guitar in a live situation, and this is something that I've kind of gone over and fretted over my whole life, and not my whole life, obviously not my whole life, but I actually started playing guitar when I was 7, and I just turned 37. It was actually my 37th birthday on, when was it? Thursday, a few days ago. And so that means I've been playing guitar for over 30 years now, which is crazy. That's bonkers, because I should be way better than I am. But that's my own personal thing I have to deal with. So guitars, let me know what guitar you use, pick up, and all that. Be really interested. So you can find some decent sounding guitars. So that's the first thing. Decent sounding guitar. Doesn't have to be expensive. Doesn't have to be an amazing handmade guitar like this one. But it just has to sound good. It has to sound good enough. Good enough that you're happy with it, a good setup, and make sure it plays comfortably enough for you. That you're not getting any buzzing, fret buzzing, or anything like this. That it rings out and it sings, and it's just a nice sounding guitar. And obviously new-ish strings. This is, you don't want to be leaving strings on for like months on end or anything like that. That won't sound good. All the oil and the grease from the fingers just completely deadens the tone out of any string. It will really, I recommend, changing your strings as much as you can. When I'm touring, when I'm like playing every day, doing gigs, then I would change my strings like once a week. But that's like pretty extreme. Usually it's once every kind of 3 weeks, roughly speaking. I usually do that because I still play every day. I teach guitar. Don't do as many gigs anymore. Although hopefully that will change very soon. But making sure that you have fresh-ish strings on makes all the difference. So once you've got your nice sounding guitar, and your setup is good and it sounds good, then the next thing is actually you in your hands. Is how do you play the guitar? We're talking specifically, about tone here, the tone of the guitar. I'm not talking too much about the performance. you know, the performance is a given. Let's say you're going to give an amazing performance anyway, regardless. You know, we're talking about just the tone of your guitar and you together, because it's kind of a mixture of both, I find. Do you play with picks? Do you play with nails? Do you play with just your fingers, or do you play with a mixture of all three? You know, you could have like a thumb pick and you're playing with nails, and you play with a bit of fingers as well. You know, this all kind of comes down to, it all affects the tone, you know. And with me, I actually play, I play with a bit of nails. You know, they're not too long, and you can see that. They're kind of angled. I have them at an angle like this. So, and then when I play, I'm almost like, I pick at a 45-degree angle roughly. So it kind of captures, it strikes the finger, the flesh of the finger, and then kind of clips the nail at the end. You know, so it's a good, it's kind of still full, because the flesh is a very warm sound, and the nail is a kind of it's a more kind of high-end trebly kind of sound. Yeah. So this affects everything. So it all depends on what kind of sound you're after, you know. And also how hard and how soft you play. I mean, I know this sounds very obvious, and it is very obvious. But you would be surprised to how many people don't think about this before they go straight to like blaming the sound engineer or whatever, or whatever different gear, or the guitar, or you know, anything like that. It's a lot of the tone is in your hands. A lot of it is in the right hands, and how hard, how softly you play, what you're picking with, your flesh, your nails, a pick. Plectrums sound completely different, I find, to nails and flesh. I mean, that's obvious, but it really does. I way prefer the sound of my fingers and my fingernails on the guitar. I also prefer to actually touch the strings. I can physically feel the strings. I don't like, some people use finger picks and thumb picks. I can't. I've tried them. I can't get used to it. I have to kind of feel the strings on my fingers, you know. I feel more connected to the guitar that way. That's just a personal thing, you know. Just a personal thing. But let me know in the comments below what you use. Do you use nails, picks, plectrums? You know, do you just strum? Maybe you just do strum. Maybe I don't do enough talking about strumming, you know. I don't really strum that much with my songs, you know. Maybe I should do more of that. Let me know if you think I should do more strumming. I'm going off topic here. Anyway, going back to picks, fingers, nails, how hard, how softly you play, you know. And we talked about dynamics a few live streams back, and you know, this is dynamics is really everything. And I talked about dynamics and how is a great way to express emotion through playing. But it's also a way of getting the tone that you want out of your guitar, you know. You know, if you're whacking your strings too hard, it might not be the best sound, you know. And the same as if you're playing too softly, you might not get the most full sound that you want out of your guitar. So, you know, it's important to experiment with getting the right kind of right, how to put it, the right strengthness on the strings, the right amount of I've forgotten how to speak, the right amount of hardness on the strings. I don't know. What am I talking about? I don't even know anymore. You get what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Yeah. So how hard or soft you play, and then where you play as well, where you play on the guitar. So if I was to play like right here next to the bridge, which I wouldn't do typically, you know, you get a very tinny kind of sound, and then the more you come this way, the kind of the fuller it gets, you know. So that all adds to the tone, you know, the tone of the guitar. And we haven't even started talking about pickups, mics, preamps, or pedals yet. So that's those two things, the guitar and you, are like a huge element of the tone that you'll get out of the guitar. And then you get to the pickups, the mics, the preamps, and the pedals. So I just want to talk a little bit. Oh, hold on. One sec. I think my son's woken up. Hold on. Ah! Ah! This is interesting. Back in a sec. And I'm back. All right. No, he hadn't actually woken up. He was just talking in his sleep. Shout out to any parents out there. That was interesting. All right. He still might wake up though. All right, we'll go to the comments. Hey Paul, how's it going? Good to see you here. You probably just came to the stream and I left. Yeah, I just need to keep an eye or an ear out if my son wakes up. But he was just talking in his sleep. So anyway, back to, I was talking about my my pickups, mics, preamps, and pedals. So I'm using a K&K. What am I using? K&K Mini, Pure Mini. I think that's what it's called. Pickup. and it's basically like 3 contact pickups just underneath the bridge inside the guitar. You get these 3 kind of contact pickups that you glue to the inside, and then just comes out as a jack. And it's a passive pickup, and it's kind of a piezo style pickup. So it takes the vibrations of the strings on the soundboard, and then basically turns that into an electrical signal, and then we can take that signal and then amplify it through a preamp and do what we want with it. But with these piezo pickups, they tend to kind of sound, they have almost, how to put it, almost a plasticky kind of sound sometimes. See if I can get that sound out of it. I'll turn off the microphone. Hold on. There we go. Turn off the microphone so you can just hear the pickup. Turn off the reverb. Turn it up a bit. And it's still a nice sound. It's just on some things it's it has this almost weird slappy kind of plasticky kind of sound, especially on pull-offs sometimes, I find. But it has the good thing about it has lots of low end, you know. With piezo pickups, I find you can really push the low end up, which can be useful, you know. Yeah, so let me know in the comments below what pickup you use. That'll be interesting. So you get like the 3 main kind of types of pickups is the piezo style pickups, and sometimes you get them like these things that go under the saddle themselves, and there's a few different other kind of types, but they're all based around the same kind of technology as taking the vibrations and turning it into electrical signal. And the next one is a sound hole pickup, which is literally just like same kind of thing, technology as electric guitar pickup. It's takes the metal, it's basically a big magnet, and it takes the metal strings and kind of turns that into an electrical signal again that can be amplified. And the good thing about the sound hole, I used to have a sound hole pickup by one called Sunrise. If anyone's heard of Sunrise pickups, lots of people, especially slide players, use them. Kelly Joe Phelps used a Sunrise pickup for years. Richard Thompson uses a Sunrise pickup on a Loudon guitar, his signature Loudon guitar. Lots of other people as well. They're great, and they can be quite clear and bright. I find they're really good for slide as well. Yeah, but Sunrise are great. But it's, you know, it's a massive chunk of metal in the middle of your guitar, in the middle of your sound hole. Especially the Sunrise ones, they're huge. But so I quite like having the sound hole clear and free, personally. but you know, I change it all the time. So yeah, the sound hole ones, they can be bright and clear. They still have, you can get a lot of low end out of them still, you know. The pizzos are warm sounding, but they can sound a little kind of plasticky sounding. And then you have mics. Is just the classic mic, getting a internal microphone or an external one like I use, you know. And there's lots of options with microphones as well. But obviously, if you use an internal microphone, it's not going to sound the same as an external microphone, you know. One's inside the guitar, one's outside the guitar. These ones that go inside the guitar, they sound good, but you have to EQ them. You have to EQ them a lot to get anything kind of decent out of them, I find, you know. And because I sit down, like when I play live, I sit down. So I'm at an advantage there when it comes to microphones, that I use this microphone here, this Neumann KM184. I bring that and I bring it on stage with me, you know. Because it's a cardioid condenser. Yeah, it's a condenser, but it's cardioid, so it's it's very narrow, the pickup pattern on it, and you know, it doesn't pick up much from behind it, so that makes it really good for on stage. Yeah, and we'll go to the comments here. A few different ones. There we go. Fabienne, what are you saying? But on electric string tapping style. Okay. But I listened to your counsel. Okay. Do you talk about sono amplificator? Not sure what that is, to be honest. I like Fishman amp 220. Do you know it? I don't know the Fishman amp. You know what? Like, amplifiers are a whole different thing. I haven't really used that much acoustic amps. I'd love to experiment more with that, to be honest. I had an AER acoustic amp at some point, one of their little ones, and they're really good. Amps are really useful, you know, for on stage as using as a monitor as well, you know. Amps are really cool. I'd like to experiment a bit with that. I heard about some other acoustic guitarists that use multiple pickups, and they would use like different amps for different pickups and stuff like this, and even electric guitar amps sometimes, and heard about all these different kind of setups. But yeah, I'd love to experiment more with acoustic amps. I just haven't got round to that yet. But I know the Fishman do amps as well, and there's quite a few other people that make acoustic amps. But yeah, I haven't tried enough out, to be honest, to say anything about that. Roberto, if I may dare to ask, have you ever used any, what's this, pedal with echo sound effect? If so, do you have any favorite kind such of pedals? Do you mean like delay, right? Delay, echo. You know what? I've experimented with this actually recently on a few of my videos. I've got a video about, I got one here. Hold on. Take it off. Come on. One sec. It's just like Electro Harmonix #1 Echo. It's a fairly old one. It's been out for a while. It's really good. It's I've also had the Boss DD, the Boss DD5, DD7 pedal as well is really good. Delay is a tricky one. I haven't really been able to use it in a practical way with acoustic, but this one's really good. I like this because it's got a blend knob, so it's like you can choose how loud or quiet you want it, which I think probably a lot of them do, actually, thinking about that. But and basically you can have the feedback go until basically forever and stuff. I'd like to experiment more with delay. I just haven't been able to kind of use it in a practical way. I know a lot of players do use them in like a rhythmical way, and that can sound cool. I just find if I use it in a rhythmical way, I find I'm locked to that rhythm, and I like to improvise a lot. I like to kind of move around in terms of the rhythm with my songs, and if I play a whole song, just it has to stick to that rhythm completely, then I feel a little bit kind of in a box, you know what I mean? So I think that's why I haven't been able to get on with them. But I've used them. If you watch some of my videos, actually the latest one where I walk, it's like my whole pedal board walkthrough. I actually use it in a different way. I use it with a volume pedal, and I use the output of the tuner output of my preamp, and then I go through like a volume pedal, and then I go into delay and another reverb pedal, and I bring that in and out through the volume. So I use it as like almost an expression, and using the delay as not a rhythmical thing, but more of like a kind of an ambient sort of texture. Yeah, using it as more of texture kind of thing, if that makes sense. And that kind of works to an extent. I find that I don't want to overuse. Delay is something that can be overused, and I think I'm conscious of that a little bit. But yeah, I'd like to experiment more. And you can get like analog delay, these really nice analog delay pedals and all kinds of things, don't you? Are really nice. But yeah, I hope that answers your question. Yeah, so I'll go quickly into, because it's 10 o'clock now. I don't want to go too long. Here we go. If you see this, hopefully you see this. It's my camera number 2. So this is just the pickup coming through, and I'm going into a Radial PZ Deluxe, which is a really nice preamp. It's their Tonebone PZ Deluxe. It costs a little bit. It's like, I can't remember how much it is now, how much I paid for it. A couple of $100, I think, something like this at least. They make really solid stuff. Radial Engineering. They're like a company in Canada. They make like switch boxes, or actually more like preamps and DI boxes and this sort of stuff. And they're all like built solid as a tank. I also go through all of this in my latest video, but I'm just going through as a simple way just to explain my kind of the way I get my tone. And it basically has a simple EQ here, and I kind of go through this, getting the sound that I want, kind of roughly molding the sound that I want, very, very basic. You'll find this on most preamps, just some basic EQ, and then you've got like some low cut filters as well, and phase switches and the usual kind of stuff. Then I go into this EQ pedal, and this is a really nice EQ. It's basically Empress Para EQ, and it's a parametric EQ. So it means that instead of having like these lines like a graphic EQ, you have these knobs, so you can. It's all about finding these frequencies that I don't like. This is my whole process. I find frequencies in this that I don't like, and I cut them out. And I want to be as narrow and precise as I can, because I don't want to cut out too many frequencies, you know. So let me just try and do that. Hold on. Make sure I got these on the right level. Just switch to the other camera because it's a bit, you can see a little bit better. So what I do, my process, you have a gain here, and then I sweep through. Don't know if you can hear that. So it's kind of sweeping through, finding the frequencies. I find the frequency that I like the least, because I find that easier to find a frequency that I like the least than deciding on something that I really like. Because like I said before, I find most pickups are not very acoustic sounding, and I kind of cut it out a little bit, not too much. I'm not too heavy with the EQing, you know. EQing is an art in itself, I find. So I try and be very delicate with it, and just not too much. And then for the mids, I do that again. You can hear that better, that it's sweeping through, you know. So I'm kind of looking for that quacky sort of sound that piezo's, you know, this harsh sounding, and then I cut that out a little bit. Sounds a bit better. And then I do the same with the high frequencies. Any harsh sounds, just cut them out. So hopefully that's just a very quick kind of way of what I would do. So I'm kind of left with a sound that, I mean, it's not amazing sound, but it's definitely nicer than it was, and it's definitely less quacky, you know. If anyone knows what I mean by quacky, this sort of piezo quackiness, I don't want. So then I just add a bit of reverb, and I'm using the Strymon Blue Sky. I'll go back to the other one, the other camera, number 2. This is the Strymon Blue Sky. And with this, you know, this is you can get some really crazy sounds. I don't want anything too crazy, you know. With this particular sound that I'm trying to get, I take the high damp, and I quite like my reverb to be quite low in terms of frequencies. So the cool thing about this reverb pedal is that you can EQ the reverb itself, which you can't do with every reverb pedal, which is sometimes really annoying. You know, I like to EQ the reverb itself, so it doesn't EQ your sound, your guitar sound. It EQs just the reverb, like the tail of the reverb that's coming out of it, you know. So that's too high for me. That's, you know, it's kind of drowning in reverb. I don't want it to be drowning, you know, but I still like it to be. I like you to be able to last a bit longer, you know. I don't want the delay I don't want the, sorry, not delay, the decay to be too short, you know? I find that if it cuts off too short, doesn't sound natural to me, you know? If I was in a natural kind of room, reverby room, echoey room, it would last a bit longer, naturally. It wouldn't, but it wouldn't be so loud. It would be very, very subtle, you know, because I play quite quietly. I'm quite a quiet player. Sorry, it keeps on flicking back to this this camera here. Doesn't matter, I guess, but it's just nice to see the pedals a little bit while I'm doing with it. So I like to, so you see, hear that. So I make the decay a bit longer, but then I take off that high end. You still, the high end's still there. So I'm going to take it off now. Hear that? So I find that to be a lot more natural sounding. Even a bit less in the mix, so I can control the mix as well, which allows me to tell me how much reverb, how loud the reverb will be, basically. And this is all a preference thing, you know. I don't want it to be drowning in, but maybe you do. Maybe you like lots of reverb and want it to be drowning. So that I'm fairly happy with. I can go back to this camera now. Boink. Hey. So then I add my microphone, and you know, that's basically, I'll turn the pickup off now, and now we've just got the microphone. You know, and there's nothing on this right now. Live, I might put a bit of reverb on this, but very, very subtle, you know, hardly anything. I think I want it I want you to be able to hear the air and all these finger sounds on the strings and everything like this, you know. That's the acoustic sound that I want, you know. It's just something a pickup just, I find, can't do, you know. All these tiny little subtle details. And because I'm playing live, I'm playing live solo, acoustically, no one else, you know, if there was other instruments, it wouldn't matter as much, I find. If there was a drum kit and a bass player and a keyboard player and other things, you know, I find it wouldn't matter so much, because you wouldn't be able to hear these tiny little subtle details. But because mainly, most of the time, 90% of the time, I'm playing on my own, you can hear these subtle details, and that's what really makes it, I find. That's what makes it important to have some kind of microphone. But then I like to blend that, obviously, with the pickup. And then that gives this kind of sound. So this is a sound that I am happy with, and obviously it changes slightly depending on the venue, and all these different kind of variables and the PA system and the room and everything like that. But most of the time it's something that is that I'm happy with, and this is why it matters. You know, going back to my original statement that it only matters as far as you are concerned, the player and the audience doesn't really care, you know. But if it gives you inspiration and confidence to play, then that's why it matters. Basically, that's why it matters. Nice one. I'm going to end with a song now as we land the plane, because it's getting quite late. I just realized, you know, and I blabber on these live streams sometimes. I do. Just putting a capo on. This is a original song, Like Father, Like Son, and yeah, I don't know if I'll do the whole song. We'll see. Just end with this, and then if you have any more questions, then please let me. Don't hesitate. Then drop a question in the comments, and then I'll answer it after I do this song. But if not, then all good. No worries. I'll go straight into the song. Here we go. Like Father, Like Son. Music starts, had too much to drink. One Christmas evening and the family's all here. From my seat, stand up to my feet, attempt to move my legs and hips to the beat. Arm goes left and left arm goes right. Legs go front to back and then side to side. Head goes up and then it goes down. I'm biting my bottom lip and making a frown. Oh, like father, like son, my chances are none. Like a father, like son, oh, my time has come. Family, a wife makes one happy guy. So your man has more than what just meets the eye. And I'd be glad to have half what he has, and I'd be proud if I turn out just like my dad. That was Like Father, Like Son. Hope everyone's having a wonderful Saturday. Thank you so much for everyone that came to the live stream. If you're watching this on the replay and you missed the live stream, then you can catch me every Saturday. We're doing this every Saturday at 9 p.m. Central European time. If I happen to be a little bit late, it's don't worry. I usually I'm on time. It's just sometimes I happen to be a little bit late because I'm putting my son to bed because it's in the evening here in Berlin. And if you want to dive a little bit deeper with me, then you can sign up to my mailing list and see if I can show everyone this on my mailing list. Here we go. Hold on. There we go. Look at that. You can sign up and just go to fabianholland.com. There's a link in the description below. And you get all these, joining my community. It's completely free. And it's basically, I post these kind of weekly vlog kind of things, and their ideas, and there's some interviews and stuff like this, things like this, and it's basically diving in a little bit deeper and getting a little bit more personal than my usual YouTube videos here. If you're interested in that, then just go to fabianholland.com and sign up there, or there's also a link in this description of this video. Other than that, hope everyone has a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next live stream. Thank you so much. Bye bye.